Hi, everybody. I am Dr. Frank Liberty. Welcome to another Personal Injury Hidden Gems vodcast. I want to go right to the slides. I want to tell you that I was a speaker at a personal injury convention this past weekend, and I'm going to be showing you a couple of the things that I picked up over there. So why don't we just get started with our presentation and enjoy this. All right. Personal Injury Hidden Gems vodcast with me, Dr. Frank Liberty. And of course, they say, well, they don't tell you the truth about personal injury. I go all out at all my podcasts, vodcasts, webinars, and seminars. Today's topics: ebooks, the new business card, you on the cover of a magazine, and our annual training. So without further ado, let's get started. We now have a magazine that's going to feature each of our members on the cover. But this magazine will set you free because it's going to educate both your patients and your attorneys as to your core competence in the area of personal injury that others don't have in your community. That just speaks of the benefits of you being able to give what's needed and wanted, solving the problems of personal injury, doing what no others have in your area, and to such a degree, so strong that attorneys are going to have to shift brands and use you. By the way, that's Dr. Brandon Maxwell on the cover. It's from right outside of St. Louis, Missouri. And, he's one of the classic examples of how a unique value proposition works. He met a large law firm, actually the largest law firm in the state of Missouri, and Brandon had never treated personal injury before this program. This program is really designed for the more advanced personal injury practitioner, but somehow Brandon got in, and so he went and he met with this law firm. And he knew that they were the big guns, the largest firm in the entire state. The senior partner was there 5 minutes into the presentation that we gave Brandon to use. It's our presentation. Now, our presentations are actually laced with vital data that's needed and wanted. Data that's going to show them we have a core competency and a unique value proposition so strong we can fix their problems. Others don't have it, and there's no choice but to refer to us. So when Brandon was done with the presentation, all the managing partners of the firm were there, and the medical director was there. When he was done, they agreed, and the senior owner of the firm told the medical director, everyone in the county, every personal injury case in that county will be referred to Dr. Brandon Maxwell. Now, if you think about it, this means that Dr. Brandon Maxwell, who had never treated a personal injury case before he came into this program, was able to get attorneys to shift brands over competent orthos, neuros, pain management doctors, and MDs and other chiros that they had been using for 30 plus years, where the managing owner of the firm would say to the medical director, I want every personal injury patient in this county now going to Brandon. Then they asked Brandon if he would open a second location in an area where all three major highways intersect. Then Brandon's gone out and had the same success with others. But what's interesting is that he has caused attorneys to shift brands and use him. And he does that by education. We don't sell attorneys, we educate them. Now, if you're a practitioner and you're doing a 99204 exam, you're not going to be able to help the attorneys unless you get into the injury model, the higher level exam. We just built into our concierge injury intake questionnaire, the triage questionnaire, a whole brand new section. Check it out on vertebral basilar insufficiencies. This is now becoming, first it was concussions and mild traumatic brain injuries, then it was AOMSI, now it's vertebral basilar insufficiency. 30% of all vehicular occupants get it. It occurs when your head is extended and rotated. And now we're using 3 different forms of ultrasound to detect it. But you can detect it by orthopedic testing and by symptoms. So we now built a whole section to our triage intake questionnaire to determine who's suffering from vertebral insufficiency. And so it's the core competency we have in identifying injury thresholds that you're not going to find if you're doing a 99204 exam. So it's the process of independent medical validation we use to override IMEs and shut down denials and disputes and other opinions. It's the evidence-based data that we give them, the table formatting, the listing of impairments and placing them in the table, and the table formatting given to the attorneys who include in their demand, all of that cannot be had unless you're in this program. Before this presentation today, I was on with another attorney and another one of our clients, and that attorney made the statement, I will be sending every one of my personal injury patients to the doctor that was Dr. Benjamin Mitchell, and he's in Georgia. And that attorney said, I plan to send every one of my patients to Dr. Mitchell after the presentation. Well, besides doing a PowerPoint presentation, we have our electronic bulletin that we send out on a weekly basis. We have our direct mailers that we send out on a monthly basis. We have our CLE presentations that we offer attorneys. And now we've got our new magazine, and this magazine is unbelievable. First of all, I wrote it, and that means that I know after 40 years what information attorneys need and want, how to attract their attention, how to create a headline, a subheadline, content, and body so that they'll stay interested, get interested, stay interested, come to an understanding, and then contact us and obviously do business with us and refer to us and bypass all the others they had been doing business with until they met us. So this personal injury magazine will now be in your waiting room for all of your patients, but you'll also be able to present it to the attorneys when you meet with them. You can also put it in an oversized envelope and mail it to the attorneys. We may be able to do that from our fulfillment center for you, mail this out to all the attorneys in your area. That's an excellent idea. Get this mailed out to all the attorneys in your demographic. We built your list, and most of you have close to 100 or more attorneys. This magazine would be a perfect mailer. All right, so here's the cover. Doctors practicing personal injury. It's pretty interesting. We went through 4 different cover designs and then 4 different color designs as well. And we're going to produce different issues probably on a monthly basis, switch it up because we have so much information. So we may stick to one color. We may use different colors. I'm not sure. But here's this one, Doctors Practicing Personal Injury, customized for you. Now, at the convention that I was at this weekend was all personal injury, and I was a keynote speaker. They say that ebooks are the new business card. So we're going to get to our 4 ebooks in just a moment. But also, they were suggesting people get and create their own magazines. Well, they had a few sample magazines, but they were not specific. They were generic. They were on the 99204 model. They could not talk about our topics. So only the people in this program can have this core competency and this unique value proposition, making this magazine highly sought after for practicing personal injury plaintiffs. Now, let's just take a look. It said, prevent losses on accident claims. New injury model exam designed for accident victims. How physician training enhances claim valuation. How automated intelligence is changing accident claims. New medical software helps accident victims. How physicians are helping to prevent claim reduction. And why physicians need to understand all 24 sections of an injury claim, which if you're doing a 99204, you're clueless. And then, of course, I just thought I'd throw one in. Traffic accidents are now the leading cause of post-traumatic stress disorder, and that is an actual fact. Vietnam War is not the leading cause anymore. It is now traffic accidents. Page 2. You'll notice the table format is in there. So let's look at that section. How my training enhances claim valuation. It says, I work as an independent medical validator to retort defense position disputes. There's the table that attorneys have never seen before. And it said, by working as an independent medical validator to retort defense position disputes, this positions me as a provider of choice when confronting unfair settlements, disputes, and denials from insurers, and it gives a distinct advantage, of which I believe will be difficult for the traditional industry defense insurer and adjusters and their doctors to match. I provide a 28-point validation in table format, in the correct language, format, and sequence to interface an input added valuation into an insurance claim to prevent unfair settlement valuation and to counter the softwares used by the insurance company. So that's a little section on how my training enhances claim valuation. Now, on the top of the page, it starts with, is money being lost on injury claims? And then it goes on to say the doctor's choice of federal examination code can result in up to 80% injury loss valuation. A standard Medicare exam is the wrong exam level for a bodily injury claim, yet that's what most providers use. Some medical specialists in personal injury, including myself, are trained in the injury model to assess injuries and accident claims. Before you select the provider, you should ask what level exam is performed. The Federal Medicare Manual lists the high level of exam we perform on our patients as 1191M, impairment rating by attending physicians, standard 1 to 3 body areas performed at MMI discharge. So we're letting attorneys and we're letting our clients know how your training enhances claim value. Now let's take a look at physicians trained in the 1191M injury model are able to prevent, even reverse low settlement valuations in injury claims, provide independent medical validations to overcome insurance company doctors, known as independent medical examiners, perform impairment ratings by the attending physician, prevent insurer attacks against credibility determinations, eliminate varying opinions between medical examiners and insurers, establish the preponderance of evidence, win the greater weight challenges, follow authorities to show greater believability than the defense, utilize the proprietary Zeus injury software to counter Colossus insurers software, and use Zeus computer-aided decision-making to minimize insurance companies' loss probabilities that devalue injury claim. So we're giving very useful, very vital information targeted mostly to those plaintiffs' attorneys, but it sure will help if your patients understand your core competence. I'm here to help in more ways than one. The need for plaintiff physicians to retort insurance company hired doctors and adjusters and counter the softwares is in high demand, and I'm here to help those who have been injured in an auto accident. I provide evidentiary burdens of proof to overcome common litigation obstacles when settlement valuation is low or unreasonable. There are varying medical opinions. Evaluators disagree about the degree of impairments. Adjusters disagree about the type of injuries. Insurance hired doctors deny or dispute claims. Clinical findings are not obvious. There have been prior accidents or pre-existing conditions. And when accident speeds were low and there's no visible property damage. I work with law firms and claim administrators to confirm the accuracy and conformity to facts and evidence-based data of claims by injured individuals for automotive personal injury liability insurance claims. Next topic talks about how automated intelligence is changing accident claims, and that's because we are using Zeus. So medical softwares that can think, or a computer term referred to as haptic logic, are having a significant impact on the way that physicians make decisions. Such computers can make determinations involving diagnostics, imaging, surgery, treatment, and for administrative and judicial decisions in injury claims. Zeus is in a rare class of semantically interoperable computers. How using Zeus medical software helps accident victims. When it comes to auto accident patients, new software named Zeus is assisting trained providers as myself to assemble the factors of the injury claim in the correct language, format, and sequence to meet evidentiary burdens of proof, to exchange complex data, to interface an input added valuation into an injury claim. The Zeus system is a translator tool that assists the physician to make up to 600 clinical decisions, and it brings a plug-and-play semantic interoperability to the bodily injury claim assessment. Zeus is only available to physicians who complete rigorous training in the injury model. Now, how using Zeus counters the cost containment that insurers use. All insurers utilize softwares that are programmed with decision support systems that can make up to 600 medical decisions in a bodily injury claim. These are nothing more than cost containment measures designed to dispute, deny, delay, and defend unfair claims valuations. Well, Zeus addresses the challenges faced by medical providers when dealing with the insurer's softwares. No other software exists in this area of medical decision-making for personal injury claim. There's no other automated decision-making software in the area of personal injury and impairments but Zeus. So we are speaking in insurance language to help you receive the highest valuation for your injury claim. One of my favorite things to educate the attorneys about are that there are 24 sections of a bodily injury claim to be addressed. And if you're using a 99204 exam, you may address 9, 10, or 11 of them. Though missing sections equal missing settlement valuation, period. The following 6 factors are part of the 24 sections of a claim that must be included when representing an injury claim, or the windows of the insurer's software do not open and you lose the compensation for these factors and payment associated with these injuries and factors. And here are the 6 of the 24 factors. Number 1, diagnostic-related estimates. Number 2, diagnostic-based injury thresholds. Number 3, specific disorders of the spine. Number 4, the spine impairment summary. We're physicians that treat the spine. We should give a spine impairment summary. And then we should give, number 5, a whole impairment summary, whole person impairment rating. And number 6, we should provide table formatting of the AMA guides. Well, how do we cope with stressful feelings after an accident? Well, traffic accidents have become the leading cause of post-traumatic stress since the Vietnam War. There is usually stress associated with an auto accident. The thought of going to the doctor, vehicle damage and repairs, car rentals, fear of insurance rates escalating, pain, worries about future health problems, lawsuits. All of this is enough to cause stress to anyone involved in an accident. But sometimes there's too much stress and it needs to be addressed, documented, represented, and cared for. Since the symptoms of head injuries can be quite similar to post-traumatic stress, any indication of head trauma from auto accidents must be thoroughly evaluated. But please read our stress brochure, which will ask you specific questions. And if you have any positive answers, give this information to us to present and enable the doctor to consider the range of physical injuries and foster discussions of any psychological, emotional, or stress impact. Not only makes a difference in your case, but on your care, which is our primary concern. While knowledge reigns supreme, caring is my mantra. And that is our 4-page introductory magazine, volume 1, issue number 1. And I am so excited about it. Let's go back and take a look at that cover one more time. It's just so exciting. So your photo will appear on there, and your information, your phone number, your address, and your email address, but also an opportunity for the attorneys to find us at accidentworks.com. Now, at our training, I'm going to be having who I consider one of the best photographers for professionals that I've ever seen. I hired him while I was at the training, and he took 15 different shots of me. We went in front of the fireplace. We went against the black marble wall at the hotel. We went outside. Had me on the stairs, had me sitting, had me standing, had me leaning, had me with my elbows on the bar. I mean, we had photos that we could plug in anywhere, change them up so you don't use the same photo. We're going to now ask that you go and let this photographer do his thing with each of our members at our training. And we'll put it on your magazine, we'll put it on your web pages, put it in your brochures, put it on the cover of your ebook. We'll swap out photos. We'll have some full body, some head, some chest, everything that we're going to need in the future. We'll just have a portfolio. And this guy's going to be at our training doing that. So this is not a photo that was taken by our photographer. This was submitted by Brandon. That gray background was his color choice, not ours. That's what color came with his photo. So when we take our own, we'll be using a green screen and we'll be able to plug in our own colors and design it the way we want. Just much better for us to have our photographers take the photos we think are the most professional, and we'll be using them throughout your course of relationship with us in different production pieces. Okay. Now, the people there that were at the seminar that were selling magazines start at charging $3,000 per magazine, and you get it as part of your program. So there you have it. Isn't that wonderful? Now, this one's only 4 pages. We also have a 20-page magazine. But I like this one to start because it will be read. The 20-page magazines are a little bit more difficult to read, but the information is extremely useful. All right, now, they were selling ebooks where you get to put your name on it. They were calling them co-author. But you have to be very careful because this isn't co-authorship. This is contributing authorship. Now, you all know what a ghostwriter is, correct? The ghostwriter is hired to write anything. It could be a press release, could be a book, it could be an article. And it is completely legal to hire a ghostwriter and have them come in and put your name on their writing in a contributing authorship program. Well, they were charging $8,000 per ebook. $8,000. You have 4 of them that are free that came with your program. 4 of them. Now, what I'd like to do is, I mean, most of you have pretty good pictures, and those of you who don't, we'll use our photographer pictures because we put your curriculum vitae, your biography, and your picture in these books when you contribute authorship. So these people were charging $8,000 a book. You get 4 of them, and there's no cost to you. The first one is called Personal Injury, Maximizing Settlement Value in a Colossus Environment. How to Eliminate Disputes, Denials, and Discounts. The Plaintiff Attorney's Guide to Prevent Unfair Settlements. And in that girl saying car wreck, they offered how much? There's 126 pages in that book. That's a heck of a book. That book is worth way more than $8,000 for what it can do to your business and your referrals, your place on the positional map to educate attorneys relative to your core competence. This is one of the best UVPs, unique value propositions you could have. Now, I want you to understand that there are people out there that have produced a few books. None of them are target specific. None of them can say you've got things others don't have. None of them have Zeus. None of them have the 1191M exam. None of them can do IMV. None of them do table formatting. You've got the solutions. And the books comes with your program. So there you have it. So this is a 126-page book. That's now, hang on. I'll go over each book, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to get these printed for you once and for all. Now, you know, I showed you and I taught you once in a process fracture, if your head is rotated more than 30 degrees on extension, the G-forces will be oblique. If you were looking into the inside rearview mirror or outside rearview mirror. If you were maybe bracing front seat passenger, turning your head to the side. Certainly when you have a side impact, turning your head during an accident could fracture your neck. Researchers discovered new evidence that low-speed accidents cause vertebral fracture. That's worth the full policy coverage limit. Now, you'll probably be the only one in your community finding this because it takes 2 months to show. Most x-rays are taken on the initial office visit or emergency room visit, and it won't be there. That's number 1. Number 2, you need to angle the tube 35 degrees, push it close to the person, shoot right up the throat from the ground up. Or you can go to the ceiling and shoot down the throat at a 35-degree angle from the ceiling down. Of course, we instruct all of our providers in how to take that x-ray. And for those of you who do not have an x-ray machine, we give you a prescription that you can give to the radiologist so he knows exactly how close to bring the tube, how to position the tube, what angle to shoot at, and tube placement. But this is your One of your other ebooks. Now they say ebooks are the new business card. I would get this book to every attorney you meet. I would mail this book to every attorney. There's so much more that you can do to get business, to position yourself. What if you mailed an attorney every other month a copy of your ebook with your contributing authorship name on it, your curriculum vitae, your bio that we produce for you, so it makes the state CLE accreditation process? What if this is one of the most wonderful things you can do. Ebooks are the new business card. Of course, we now have the AOMSI injury, the $66,000 neck injury, now not to be misdiagnosed. Well, 65% of accident victims have this overlooked injury, but it remains undetectable to the human eye. So how do we find it? How do we identify patients and clients who have it? This book is outstanding. Remember, ebooks are the new business card. Now, these ebooks can be printed anywhere from $3.25 to just under $4 a book. If you have only 100 attorneys and you spend $4 a book, it's only $400 to get this out, showing you as a contributing author. There's nothing that's going to position you on the positional map or help you get closer to the center of the map and create top of mind awareness than if attorneys have all these editions, both electronic and print version, in their office coming from you. The next book, one of my favorites, The Complete Guide to Reverse and Prevent Adjusters and IME Bullies from Undervaluing Injury Claims. We call this the No Bully Zone. Complete Guide for Plaintiffs, Injury Attorneys. Now, within this book, we go over the 13 unfair claims settlement practice acts that insurers use and adjusters use to manipulate the claims, to drag the injury severity points down to a lesser value, to reduce injury thresholds so they're non-rateable, to second-guess medical opinions, to use scattergraph plotting where they'll look at the zip code, a 12-month look back, and they will not pay more than the lowest amount offered in that zip code in the prior year, and 13 total unfair claim settlement practice acts. So with each of these books comes a CLE accredited presentation with the PowerPoints, with the handouts, and the book to dispense at the presentation. And every member of our group gets CLE, Continuing Legal Education accredited status from the state bar. We're the only ones doing that. And now you get 4 CLE courses with books, with CLE accreditation, with handouts, and you can make presentations for CLE credits by inviting attorneys. You can invite them by phone, by email, by direct mail, by placing an ad in the County Bar Journal, inviting them. You can, all of you, in our program, we can get every one of our clients to become a keynote speaker before their county bar, where the county bar will invite the attendees and pay for the entire presentation and sponsor and feature you because of these books. So people were charging $8,000 for these books. You get 4 of them included in your program. Now, this is a brand new Plaintiff's Injury Informant magazine. This one is loaded. Inside this issue, how case law reverses and prevents low settlement valuation in a Colossus injury claim. Winning the greater weight, how a new process is eliminating adjuster and IME opinions and disputes to win the great weight challenges. How to stop claim manipulation, the method being used to stop adjusters from manipulating the trauma lines in injury claims. And then it says you're not bound by the evidence and opinions of claims adjusters and IMEs. You now have another option. And finally, exposed. Insurance companies use rubber stamp risk management and stacking the deck tactics to lower settlement valuation and what is being done to prevent it. You, therefore, now have access to this 20-page magazine. You can give attorneys a link where they can get the electronic version of all 20 pages. We have an electronic ad that we send out for our members, for their attorneys, giving the attorneys the opportunity to receive a free copy simply by clicking. And when they click, we capture their email, we know who they are, and we invite them to receive free copies of this 20-page magazine, electronically and flips through like a book. Click, click, page 1, click, click, page 2. Excellent, excellent. Now, what is my point behind all this? Well, let's just take a look. Here's one page. This is page 1. It says important plaintiff news to reverse and prevent low settlement valuations and injury claims. You are not bound by the evidence and opinions of claims adjusters and IMEs. You have another option. Insurance companies' use of rubber stamp, risk management, and stacking the deck tactics to lower settlement valuation is exposed, and the process to counter it is revealed. The question is, by whose standard is it determined whose opinion carries the greater weight? The answer is a third-party independent medical validation. That's what we use to confirm the accuracy and conformity to facts and evidence-based data to counter the varying medical opinions of adjusters and the independent medical evaluators. This eliminates the common litigation obstacles and it reverses low settlement valuations. That's page 1 of 20 pages. Here's page 21. There's more than 20 pages, I'm sorry. This is what's being done to compel the adjuster to add the full claim value factors. Now we've got here in gray statements of undisputed facts, memorandum of points, declarations, and authorities, and what our other plaintiffs' attorneys have been using for the last 10 years as language to present as memorandum of points and statements of undisputed facts to get the adjusters to add the full value for the claim factors and the threshold injuries. So this section gives the language for them to put into their demand. Several pages of language for each injury. Also, again, it's going to show the table formatting, but also, in addition to language to put into the exam, in the event of a deposition, the book also shows what questions to ask under direct and cross. Let me tell you, when attorneys get this, they're so impressed, they have no choice but to come to you because you're light years ahead of the competitors. Now, obviously, the more everyone knows about table formatting, the better it is. But Insurance Law 501, a federal law, says these two things. In a bodily injury claim and an insurance claim, you either have to have greater than $50,000 in total damages. That could be from bodily injury to administrative to legal to economic, property damage, wage loss, total. Either you have to exceed $50,000 or you have to be in an injury severity threshold. There are 13 threshold injuries. Discs are in there, herniated and bulging discs, mild traumatic brain injuries and concussions, AOMSI, unintended process fracture, stenosis is in there. The post-traumatic stress syndromes are in there, the anxieties, the sleep disorders, TMJ. There's some threshold injuries, but if you don't put the threshold injuries into this table, they do not admit it for value. And if you don't convert the injury into an impairment, they will not value it. So therefore, the software will automatically assemble the table, assign the impairment, put it into the correct DRE category, put it into the correct DBI category, rate the specific disorder of the spine, rate the spine impairment, rate the whole person impairment, and it will do it all by the click of a button. That's why we're so effective in doing so well in our program. Now, I was on the program before I'm recording this, just immediately before I finished a 1-hour presentation to an attorney on behalf of one of our clients. And the client, that attorney did not know anything about decision points, prolonged modifiers, or case maximizers. So I said, well, let's get you our newsletter series. And I showed him, here's one. There are 58 case maximizer factors, and they can prevent unfair personal injury settlements. So would it excite you to consistently maximize settlement value in an insurance environment, in a Colossus environment? The answer is probably so. Well, these 58 case maximizer factors might keep you from receiving a lowball settlement. And then it goes on to explain what the case maximizer factors are and why they need to be identified by the doctor and why they need to be included in the demand. So now this lawyer that was in front of my client, our member, said, oh, absolutely, please put me on your newsletter list. Well, now they're going to give us their cell phone, because when you have an attorney's cell phone number, you're going to get their referral. Then we send them our SMS version, formatted to fit cell phones, which is only available to attorneys that give us their cell number. So we not only have email bulletins, but we have SMS text bulletins. They look fantastic on iPhones and smartphones. So you want to be able to educate attorneys. Now you've got the magazine. Now you've got 4 ebooks. Now you've got the newsletter series. We also have our direct mail series. We also call your attorneys, asking if they received the mailers, but we get the analytics showing who opens the newsletters, and those are the ones we call and set up appointments with. Now, we're now making it a policy that our phone staff, we will only hire paralegals. For some reason, paralegals have no fear. They get right through the gatekeepers, and they're setting up meetings 3 times more than non-paralegals. So we're only hiring paralegals to call on our clients' behalf, and because they're getting through 3 times more. So we should be able to triple the number of meetings we set up effective immediately. All right. It's also important to arm your attorneys with exhibits, especially exhibits that others don't have. And you're the only one that gives them the exhibits. When there's an unintended process fracture, when there's a mild traumatic brain injury, when there's AOMSI. I mean, the more exhibit you can give. So exhibits should contain statements of undisputed facts, memorandums of points, declarations, exhibits, and authorities, which is other case law. They should be comprised of administrative and judicial decisions, hearings, and rulings so that you have the authority. So this is the photo version of our exhibit, and I'm not going to read it all, but I will say this: the first paragraph. It says, look, my client has tested positive for one of the highest rated spinal injury types recognized by strict criteria of the AMA guides, referred to as alteration of motion and segment integrity. That injury carries a 25% whole person impairment evaluation. It is rated the same as a amputation of a foot. It's rated the same as a fusion of 2 spinal vertebrae. So this is all to define a quality system of regulation, the process of independent medical validation, the legal precedent stating that your evidence wins the greater weight. It's got case law in it, right here, case law. And so this is our photo version. Okay. Now, some lawyers just like to go with a numbered version. So this is the exhibit. If they don't want to use photos, this is how they submit the exhibit, using the numbered version. Because if you don't get this exhibit in there, they don't have to value the AOMSI injury for its full set aside case settlement reserve. That's the key to this. Now, you can't see this animation in my webinar, but when I send you the link to give the attorneys, this is an electronic version, you'll see that vertebrae moving 3.5 millimeters out of place, overriding the disc, compressing the nerve, crimping the nerve at the exit of the IVF, and you'll show the vertebrae compressing against the chain ganglia. It's an outstanding animation. That works on any normal computer, but not in my PowerPoint presentation here, because this is a webinar jam and it will not allow the animation. And then, of course, there's the report you get. We recommend people go to DRMA Pro. DRMA Pro. It stands for Diagnostic, D, R, Radiographic, M, Mensuration, A, Analysis. DRMA Pro, Diagnostic, Radiographic, Mensuration, Analysis. They are the least expensive, and they're the ones that will get you the best report to serve as an exhibit, but also we only make the link available to people who use that company. That's our doctors are using DRMA Pro. Now, let's talk about our training. The black stands for Memorial Day on May 25th. I would have liked to have done May 23rd, 24th. And then you could even stay an extra day here in Florida and hit the beach on Memorial Day if you could swing it. That's one option. The black represents Father's Day in June. I wanted to do it on that Father's Day weekend. I don't know how we're going to do this. Let's take a vote. Let me see if I can get my polls up. And let's publish the polls. And let's see. you should be able to vote on these polls now. You should be able to vote on the polls. Those of you who are interested in May 23rd, click. Those of you who are interested in June 20th, click. Those of you who are not interested, don't click. Okay? So on the May version, you could spend that extra Monday, that's Memorial Day weekend. Let me see here. That would be Memorial Day weekend. Monday's Memorial Day. We could have a great Memorial Day weekend together. Usually, you don't have patients that much. Everybody's taking off. So from a practice standpoint, that's a good weekend because you're probably going to be least busy weekend. Then you have the option. We can, if you stay Monday and you go home Monday evening, you can have Sunday afternoon at the beach, Monday morning and afternoon at the beach. Man, it's beautiful here. The waters will be like 90 degrees at that time. That's May. And, of course, there's Father's Day weekend. That's probably not a good weekend, as I can see. 66% like May 23rd. 33% like June 20th. Okay. Well, I could look for, let me see here. The only other thing we could do is June 6th. So, why don't you all email me? It looks like nobody wants Father's Day weekend. So, we're looking at either Memorial Day weekend or the weekend after. I know people don't like to travel the week after a holiday, but Memorial Day weekend or the week after. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Memorial Day weekend. I like to be alone, but I'd rather be with you people, my people, our family. And, of course, I will arrange some sort of a barbecue somewhere, make it easy. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you see. Maybe Saturday night we'll all go out for dinner. And maybe Sunday or Monday we'll have a beach barbecue or something. Many of you might be able to stay Monday if we do that Memorial Day weekend. All right. Now, I'm going to say that will conclude my vodcasts, which I want to make about 30 minutes long. But I want to talk to some of my clients now, privately and personally. And so this is what I wanted to discuss with you. When you join this program, I said we're going to be happy to implement various factors of the program according to your gradient or how you would like to grow or how fast you would like to implement. Now, I can understand, the week after we send out your electronic bulletin, I can have you in front of an attorney. If you study the PowerPoint presentation, it's only an hour. You don't have to memorize. Just put it up and go through it. It's designed for no memory. And it has worked 100% for 100% of the people, 100% of the time. Everybody will report to you tremendous success. But I got one guy, Brandon Maxwell, that practiced it 100 times, he told me, before he went out and delivered it. Never having treated a personal injury patient in his entire career of 17 years, he got in front of the biggest law firm in the state of Missouri, and the managing partner stopped him to go out and get the other two managing partners. So all managing partners were there. And then they brought in their medical director who does the referrals. And when the presentation was over, they told the medical director, we want all of the personal injury patients in this county to go to Dr. Brandon. And I'm telling you, they said, we want you to be open tomorrow, which is a Saturday, because he gave his presentation on a Friday. And they said, we're starting to send to you tomorrow. And the referrals have really flooded in. Then 2 weeks into it, they realized how much value there was in this. And they said, we want you to open. They gave him a strategic location between three major highways. And they said, that's a little bit of a different county. They said, that's even a busier. We'll give you everyone that comes to us in that county if you open there. So I want to go down there and open up this with him, and I'll make that a full-blown multidiscipline center with rehab in there, and we will just light it up. And I'm probably going to go down there and visit, take a look at that location, and make it happen. And that's what I like to do for fun, rather than make my investments in Bitcoins or gold or silver or real estate or franchising. I invest in me and my guys to open up other locations. So if you got opportunity to do that, I'm your guy. I'm your partner. Now, that's how much faith I have in my program, brother. You can't touch this program. Now, I got a guy, I really like him a lot, Benjamin Mitchell, and I often wonder him. I says, why don't you do more PowerPoint presentations to attorneys? And he sent me a email yesterday and said that he just met with one attorney that sent him 5 patients. And so this little son of a gun, he's been doing this all along, just not telling me how well it's working for him. And today, when we did that presentation, that lawyer says, I'm going to make him my exclusive referral source. Do you realize one attorney that makes you their exclusive referral source is all you need? I mean, if one attorney sends you 5 a month, and the case fee's $5,000, at $25,000, one attorney. If 19 attorneys send you 1 every 2 months, that's 8 a month. I mean, you could own this. Look, every one of you has 100 attorneys. All you got to do is find one out of that group that's going to be a constant, continual, persistent, predictable referral source, and you got it. So we're sending them an e-bulletin every week. The following week, we get the analytic to see who opens. We're calling them, setting up the meeting. You got it. Done. We're sending them electronic advertisements maybe once, sometimes twice a month. We're sending them direct mail once a month. We're really out there in front of them, and it's information they need and want. It's information that's vital that can fix their problems. They can't get anywhere else, and they will shift brands and use you. My goodness gracious. So I wanted to talk to you and say, I'm okay if you want to start off slow. Then I got the others that have other things that get in the way, personal things, and it could be anything from sickness or illness or divorces or children or life, life. No right, no wrong, just life. And it slows people's production. But unfortunately, this thing works to the degree that you work. It's as effective as you are. So if you're caring for an ill family member and you can't get to your business, then you're going to have a lowered statistic in that area. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It just is what it is. But I want to be here for those of you who are ready to roll with this. Now, we have a checklist that you can fill out. It's an online checklist. When you click it, it comes directly to me online. No faxing, no nothing. Just click and submit. Tells me where you are so that I can help you go to the next level. And then we have our monthly statistic form, which goes about over 4 pages of actual statistics and goals, where you're at, what you want your next goal to be. And I have that so that I can give you the plan to get to your goal. Now, goals are numerical. Your purpose is your mission statement. Your goal is a number. How many new patients do you want per month? How many new referrals do you want? How many attorney meetings do you want? Goal, how much money do you want? There's a lot of different goals. So in our monthly statistic form, we find out what your goals are, worth 3.5, 4 pages worth. Now, goals are driven by plans. Plans are driven by programs. Programs are driven by steps. Steps have projects. You have to give out orders and policies in order to get the steps executed. You have to assign the steps and projects to other people. We're trying to do a lot of this for you by customizing your electronic bulletin, blasting it out from your own email account to 100 attorneys in your community, collecting the analytics, and then calling upon them. So you don't have to exert staff or capital. We do it for you. All you do is do the meeting. Now, you're CLE accredited in our program, so you get to give them CLE credits. Today, Dr. Mitchell didn't even tell that lawyer that there were CLE credits available. I said, would you like the CLE credits? Oh, my God, absolutely. I would love it. I said, did you bring the 2 forms to give them? He said, no, but I'll go get them. So what I'm trying to say is then you take another guy like Dr. Steve Smith. He's met over 50 attorneys already. He would never not have the 2 forms available. And I don't think he's going to let more than 2 or 3 days go where he doesn't meet with an attorney. Now he's being asked to meet with the Judicial College in Houston, where all the judges that deal with personal injury will be present for his presentation. I've got others that wanted to get in with lawyers for years and couldn't do it until they got into this program. Now the lawyers tell them, I have more than one people where lawyers say, I want you to open a location, and gave them a direction, because this is the kind of stuff that's needed and wanted. But back to my point, how fast you want to operate this, how far you want to go with this. Some people aren't ready for a presentation one-on-one. Many people are afraid to do a presentation to a bar. I can get every one of you to become a keynote speaker in front of your bar. Now, here's the good news. We now have regional representatives. I've got a regional representative in the Houston area, in the Atlanta area, and in the Memphis, Tennessee area that I'm sending them agreements my lawyers are drafting for them to become regional directors. Now, these people are going to hold your hand. These people will come out and do your presentations. I mean, these are people that are going to really help a lot. And they've had experience in the program now. This program's only a year old at the time of this recording. And we have already made a huge impact. 4,600 attorneys are referring to our members nationwide in just the first year. And we're adding 400 new attorneys every month. So this is the place to be for personal injury. But I want to grow this with you, but I've left it up to you. What is your gradient? How fast do you want to grow? And then I've got some of you who haven't purchased a muscle tester yet. I've got some of you who haven't entered your clients or sample into Zeus. I mean, so everyone's at a different level. And I want to say, what's my responsibility in terms of motivating you or putting a fire under you to get you going when you report things to me like personal issues, caring for family members, recovering from a divorce, having some kind of insurance problems, illnesses, family illnesses, other issues. Now, I would like to say this. I am not here for shame, for blame, or for regret. No shame, no blame, and no regrets, period. Because life is what it is. And sometimes it can be difficult, but it doesn't matter. If you have the will to try and the faith to believe that anything is possible, you will get everything that you want in your life. Because the only thing that stands between a person and what he wants in his life is his will to try and his faith to believe anything is possible. So we overcome. We have to sometimes say it doesn't matter what happens to us, but by what we do about it. Things will always happen to us, around us, because of us. But the only thing that really matters, let me sign off here and let me get out of this. 76 said did come during May. Let me get out of the screen share and talk to you. Let me get out of my screen share and talk to you. How do I get out of the darn screen share? I want to see you. I want to talk to you. I don't know how the heck to do it. Oh, well. See me in that little window down at the bottom. Let me see if this will get me out. How do I get out of this thing? I'm missing it. All right. Sorry about that. I'd like to see you in a larger screen, but here I am down at the bottom of the small screen. All right. Anyway. No shame, no blame, and no regret. Life is life. But listen. You cannot take an excuse to a bank. You cannot take a reason to a bank. You cannot take a rationale to a bank. You cannot take justification to a bank. Do what you got to do. You got to handle family issues, family problems, illnesses within families, illnesses within yourself, divorces that you're facing, or other things, which is life. Do it, but don't blame me, okay? But don't hold me responsible when you can't move forward with the program to the same degree that others who are unimpeded can move forward. Because, there's different people at different levels, and it's because they work it at different levels. So I'm here for you. I made this a pretty long-term commitment for you so we could navigate around issues like that. But listen, yes, you can give me a reason, and you can make it a justification. You could justify the reason. You could give me a rationale for the reason. I don't want to call it an excuse, so I'll let you call it a reason. but you can't take them to the bank. And if it's in your way and preventing forward progress, then there it is. I want to work with you through it, but I don't want to be held responsible for your personal issues. I'm here for business development, not personal development. I'm not a life coach. I'm a business development coach. So do what you got to do to get out of your situations, to get into the next situations, to get unimpeded, to get out of any suppression that you may be under. Do what you've got to do. And by all means, pray and thank God, because there's people that need you and want you. And eventually we're all going to get to a place where we can just go and go and go. Now, let me tell you a good news about that at our training. In fact, I have one client that gets over 100 personal injury clients a month, and he has no time because he has not learned management by statistics or time management. So I will have as a guest speaker the author of the Management by Statistics program, whom I paid $20,000 to in 1985, who took me from $250,000 to $1 million within about 6 weeks. And I never looked back and never had to practice doing less than 7 figures ever again. And I had so much more spare time, and I was able to open up an office every 6 months with this program. He's going to be a guest speaker. He's got 8 New York Times bestseller books. That program that he charged me $20,000 for, he now charges my members $9.99 a month. And you can have some consulting with that price included. And we're going to be giving out the software. So at the training, bring your laptop. We're going to load the software. You can try it for 30 days at no fee. And if you like it, it's only $9.99 a month, $9.99 a month. We're going to load all the statistics you need to look out for so that you can get reports, know exactly what's happening, how to fix downtrends, how to enhance uptrends in all the vital areas. I'm going to tell you which statistics are the most important for our personal injury business, the ones that I've done and used to create 7-figure practices. That's only $9.98 a month, and we're going to get that done at the training. He'll be a guest speaker. That way, when life does hit and you get an illness or a family member has an illness, or you get a divorce, or you develop some catastrophic injury, you'll have systems that to help you navigate through so you don't have to do everything yourself. And that's what I'm introducing to you as part of our business development. That's what this is. You know, this is the things you're not going to get in school. Now, I even have somebody who taught at Tony Robbins, and I also taught for Tony Robbins. And he may want to come down and give us a little presentation on the Tony Robbins way to make a presentation to attorneys. I like the Frank Liberty way to make a presentation to attorneys because I know my stats. My statistics are 100% successful 100% of the time. So I think I got that one nailed down, but we're also going to be showing you how to present to an attorney, how to talk to an attorney, how to get referrals from an attorney, how to close attorneys. All that's going to be done at the training as well. Obviously, we're going to go through the 119 8-page exam as well. We're also going to cover branding and marketing strategies. We're also going to cover certain things about staff and their functions and their roles and responsibilities, how to get other people to help you, and maybe how to get unencumbered from life when life happens, at least so it doesn't take you off the rails or sidetrack you from moving forward in personal injury. Who needs an associate? Who wants to bring in a part-time MD? Who wants to focus more on 1191M exam? Who wants to get out in front of attorneys? Who wants to address the county bar? Who wants to progress? So listen, another thing I want you to do is this. I think you should all get at least 100 copies of each 4 books printed. So our fulfillment center in Austin, Texas, run by Vicky, is trying to work out the best price on a book. I know it comes up somewhere a little short of $4 a book, but that's because it's custom cover, it's thick stock, it's got your photo, it's got your custom biography, it's got your custom curriculum vitae. And so one of the books is like 26 pages, another is 126 pages. We're averaging a little less than $4 a book. And so you got a book you want to get out, you get 100 of them for $400. That's a heck of an investment. If you don't want to spend the money, they are ebooks, but you've got to get them out. You should be meeting with attorneys and getting the ebooks. Now, what we're going to do coming up now is we are going to send every one of your ebooks to all the attorneys in your community over the next 5 months, in addition to the electronic bulletins that we send weekly. We're going to send electronic ads asking attorneys if they want to have you come and give them a CLE presentation. We're going to keep going and keep growing with this. So if you feel that you're ready to go to the next stage, you got to let me know. If you feel that you think you've been lagged behind or you haven't been given enough attention, you got to let me know. Usually the squeaky wheel gets the grease, so let me know. There are people I talk to 5 times every day. There are people I don't talk to once in 5 weeks. And so shame on you, man. So if you don't reach me by phone, email me. If you don't reach me by email me, text me. If you don't reach me by text, phone me. If you don't reach my phone, email me. In other words, email me, phone me, and text me. Don't wait. And if you don't hear from me, do it again. Now, I consult, so I'm on the phone all day, so don't expect me to drop a consulting call to take your call. Text me and I'll get back to you. Email me and I'll get back to you. And I'll tell you when you and I can talk and put you in a consult schedule so we can have uninterrupted time. But I am available about 17 hours a day, 7 days a week, 3 weekends a month. The other weekend I'm doing a seminar. So I love communicating with you. I just wanted to point out and close out by saying that some of you are obviously accelerating at different rates and different speeds. Some of you have different priorities. Some of you have some suppressive acts going on in your life. Some of you have life disturbances. You're taking care of sick people or sick family members. You yourself are sick or getting a divorce, or something's in a way messing you up. And that's when you got to reach out, because that's when you need to help the most. Because the truth of the matter is, there's always going to be something happening to you, around you, because of you. But the only thing that really matters is what happens in you and what you do about it. In life, it's not what happens to you. It's what you do about it. So that's what this family is for. That's what this membership is for. And we are going to have one heck of a camaraderie at our training coming up. Imagine this program's only a year old. Can you imagine where we're going to be 2 and 3 and 4 years from now? First of all, this will be a franchise. Second of all, everybody's going to have the option to do NCV, to do real high-tech rehab, to have a part-time MD come in. Everybody's going to have those options if you want them, because we are in personal injury. This is big business. This is no joke. I don't know what you're getting paid for insurance visits. People are telling me $38 a visit from Medicare. I don't know, but I know what personal injury is, and that's where I want to be. And so you have a license worth more than any franchise. Did you know that the top franchise earning income is McDonald's? The top guy makes 150 grand. The average guy makes 105. And so they're averaging 115,000. That's it. The next is like the other food franchises do about 80 grand a year in net profits. Your license is worth more than McDonald's. You got to pay 1.2 million for McDonald's to make 100 grand a year. You can do that a month in my program. But come on. How come one guy has seen 52 attorneys in the last 8 months and another hasn't seen one yet? Is that my fault? I mean, I work with you at the speed you want to work. I'll grow with you at how you want to grow. I just need to know where you're at. That's why I've got the online checklist to tell me where you're at, and then the monthly statistics forms for plan goals, programs, and projects and steps that implement them and get you to the next level. We are hiring 2 new people every month. Chandra is the human resource director for our company, and one of her assignments is to hire and train 2 new people a month just to call attorneys. And yesterday I ordered her to make them only paralegals. So we hired 2 paralegals a month just to call attorneys to set up meetings for you. So there's a lot we can do. Why? Because attorneys need this information and they want it, but mostly because it's vital information that can solve their problems. And I restrict territory so nobody else in your community can do what you do, which means you got it. And number 3, it's so powerful. If they don't use us, they're going to lose. They know that. So they use us. Simple as that. Well, listen, I don't know why I can't get to the larger screen here. I've never been able to not do that. I just don't understand it. Hold on. There you go. After all that time, wouldn't it have been nice to look at you full screen? So I know that we're solution oriented, so I salute you. Okay, I know that we're solution oriented, and I know that when a problem gets bigger than you, that's when it's going to take over your life. Because here's the deal: you will get to rise in your life to the degree of problems that you can solve. When you hit a problem that's bigger than your ability to solve it, that's when life stops. Okay? And I learned that the hard way. Everybody's got a story, and I'm going to tell you mine, but I look at my problems because that tells me how much I can grow. When the sun's shining, the bills are paid, the kids are being behaved, getting hugs and kisses, I'm not going anywhere. But when I got a problem, I find a way to solve it, get to the next level. And so you have to understand, if you don't have any problems, then God doesn't respect you, because he won't give you a problem to break you. He will give you a problem to make you. And in that making, you're going to be introduced to the right people, the right tool, the right opportunities, the right connections. I promise you, if your intentions are correct, because what you intend for you is what you will create for you. So put on that good thinking cap, man. Vote on the side of yes. The human mind's binary. That means yes or no, good or bad, right or wrong, power or disempower. There are no maybes. There are no doubts. Any maybes go to the default. Any doubts go to the default. Any maybes or doubts go to the negative side. So when those inner thoughts of doubts pop up and they nag you, kick them out. They are living resident thoughts in your subconscious mind. 80,000 thoughts occur a day. 80% of them are negative. You take 17 positives out, do one negative. So you got to kick them out. They're not paying rent. They're just vagrants living inside your subconscious. Kick them out and replace them with positive thoughts. How do you do that? You make a positive statement 3 times a day. If you follow biblical terms, you do that for 41 days. That's enough to change the program in your mind. You say positive things to yourself 3 times a day for 41 days. What you say repeatedly becomes your belief system, but inevitably your vision becomes your reality. So what it is that you see is going to become your vision. What do you see for yourself? Don't hang around with the turkeys. You cannot soar with the eagles if you're hanging out with the turkeys. Find people that are doing what you want to do, hang out with them, learn from them, and monitor what you allow into your subconscious mind. Just turn the switch, don't let it in. Kick out all the negative, replace it with positive, hang out with positive people, write down your goals, make sure that they're believable, make sure they're desirable, make sure they're obtainable. See yourself reaching that goal. Say to yourself, I'm the greatest. Feel, self-actualize yourself becoming empowered. And I promise you, if you expect to get it with the help of God, you will, if you besiege it and beset it. So your goal should be purposeful. It should be practical. It should be obtainable. It should be desirable. You should see it, say it, feel it, believe it, and most of all, expect it. And that's when you get it. There's no reason why you shouldn't do that in personal injury if you're with me and if you're with this program. All right, I want to continue to help you and be a mentor to you. And I need your love and your respect and your communication as well. So stay in touch with me, be on this webinar every week, be at our training, and let me know by filling out your statistics form and your monthly and your online checklist, so I can plan programs and plans with you to meet your goals. I'm Dr. Liberti. Let's see you next week, same place, same time. Thanks for being here. Bye now.